The views and opinions expressed on this podcast are those of the hosts and guests as individuals, and do not necessarily reflect those of advertisers or sponsors. This show is intended as entertainment and commentary only. The producers strive for verisimilitude, but nothing said on this podcast should be taken as fact by the listener or viewer without performing due diligence.
And we're back. This is Keep Your Hat On, the show where even we don't know where we're going to go. And next up, this is the segment that we call
Lamest Conspiracy Ever.
So what do you got for us, Robert?
Well, let's talk about this. Does Australia really exist?
Does what?
Yeah.
You mean the island continent in the South Pacific?
Yeah.
Last time I checked.
The place where the British sent their criminals.
You're getting close. Yeah.
Well, I'm not getting close. I'm still in Portland.
Oh, Chris is, yeah.
Chris is still in Portland, too. I can hit him from here.
So okay, obviously there's an answer here that we're not expecting. I mean, I would assume.
Just let me read this out loud to you.
All right, we'll link down below.
Link in the comments.
Know your meme.
Right? Okay.
So the original post read like this. Australia is not real. It's a hoax. Made up for us to believe that Britain moved over their criminals to someplace. In reality, all these criminals were loaded off the ships into the waters, drowning before they could see land ever again. Yeah.
That's not very British.
It's not very.
That's harsh.
Yeah. In reality, no, this is the criminals, so they could never see land again. It's a cover-up for one of the greatest mass murders in history, made by one of the most prominent empires. Australia does not exist. All things that you call proof were actually well-fabricated lies and documents made by the leading governments of the world. Your Australia friends? Yeah, they're all actors and computer-generated personas, part of the plot to trick the world.
So instead of crisis actors, does that make these people crikey actors? Had to. Had to.
Well done.
Thank you very much. I do 2 shows, 7 and 9:30. Tried the deal.
Okay. So what you're describing here, what you're describing here is one hell of a conspiracy.
Yeah.
Because not only does it, I mean, do you have the conspiracy in time of the British prison ships and the cover-up, but it's a transgenerational conspiracy, and everybody has to buy into it.
That's just it. And transnational too. You got to get all the rest of the world to play along with this, except for maybe the third world nations.
And so you're banking on everybody who knows about it not spilling the beans.
Absolutely.
That's a lot of faith.
The thing about that, though, is does it really take generations after generations? If you just pass it down to an elite few, after a few generations, nobody's really going to know unless the top echelon of the government is, of the empire is
the elite few
taking care of it. Once it's all in place, right? You just leave it in place.
Isn't that its own conspiracy theory, though, that we have to revisit?
Well, we're just going down this rabbit hole. So
Trilateral Commission. It's the Illuminati.
Gotta tell you, man, if Australia really doesn't exist, that's a hell of a snow job, and it has taken a lot of man hours.
Well, except for the fact that there's not a whole lot of snow in Australia, I don't think ever. But that's a different topic. What happens if you get in a boat and accidentally run into it?
So, here's the deal: if you think you've ever been to Australia, you're terribly wrong.
Okay.
The plane pilots are all in on this. and I would assume that the ship captains are
The
as
pilot cabal.
well. Oh, that's what I'm talking about. They're all in on it and have in actuality only flown you to islands close, nearby, or in some cases, parts of South America. So Australia really lives in South America.
Oh, because they're so similar.
Oh, exactly.
What
Exactly.
So there's I picture this thing going on in the red carpet club at the airport where the pilots are wink nudging each other doing I'm
time to head
I'm going to Australia today.
Time to head to Sydney.
Yeah.
Hello and welcome to Keep Your Hat on the Show, where, hell, even we don't know where we're going to go. I'm Andrew Scott, along with my good friend Chris Vicano, and my other good friend Robert Anthony, and our new good friend, Dr. Mark C.E. Peterson. How you doing, guys?
Yeah, doing great.
Yeah, somebody awesome, start talking. There we go.
Yeah.
Well, we're just here, as we say, we're just here. I'm talking to the wrong camera. Good thing I'll fix that in post. We're just here to have a good time, kind of hang out and talk about shit that we find interesting. And we find a lot of shit interesting. But I don't know, anybody had anything interesting that's happened this past week? I know, Mark, you got your first coronavirus stab.
I got stabbed on Friday by a fabulous young nurse. Of course, at my age now, it's funny. Everybody under 30 looks the same age. I'm having that thing happen.
Oh, that's happening to me, and I'm only in my 50s, buddy.
Yeah, it's weird. Remember when you were in your 20s, or actually remember when you were 15 and you could tell, like, 13-year-olds from 14-year-olds, and like,
oh yeah,
by the time you're 20 they all look like they're 10, and by the time you're 30 they all look like they're 10.
Yeah, and when you were dating somebody who was 1 year older than you were robbing, or somebody was robbing a cradle.
Oh yeah,
it was a big deal.
Yeah, hell yeah.
She's out there, she knows who she is. I will say this though, it's like one of the great things was a lot of, I've had a lot of friends who are twitchy about getting stabbed. It's like, oh, I hate needles and stuff. It's like this nurse was freaking brilliant. And it's like, I don't know if you guys have been stabbed enough to can tell when the nurse actually knows what they're doing when they give you the injection. And it occurred to me that that they've had a ton of practice.
Right.
Anyway.
Yeah. All the oranges that have been stabbed in the name of medical science,
You wonder.
Yeah, no, that's I had a friend of mine that just went through phlebotomy training, and she was saying, seriously, I've eaten so many goddamn oranges because we just go through them, and so I've been orange Jello, orange. I guess the real good analog is actually not an orange; it's a grapefruit. A grapefruit has very similar surface tension to human skin, and so the next time.
So wait, do you peel it first and then you do that little membrane thing, or do you actually?
No, they're just stabbing at random fruit. Yeah, it's kind of like Fruit Ninja in the medical world. But
when folks are training to be or practicing their tattoo artistry, in the beginning they use grapefruits and oranges.
Grapefruits, oranges, and pig fat and pig skin. Yeah, they'll go out.
I will say
it's a great way to wind up with some really nice pork belly after you're done.
I guess that would be an awesome approach.
It's a nice side benefit.
I was thinking the best stabbing I ever got actually was probably about 20 years ago. I think I was when I was going to Eastern Europe, and so I had like this slate of immunizations that was this long, and I'm thinking, oh great, here we go, I'm gonna get about 6 of these in a row. And this woman who looked, by the way, she looked exactly like Janet Reno, which was kind of surreal. She was fantastic. And I actually finally commented on this, and I said, "You are awesome with the needle." She goes, "I'm an acupuncturist too."
There you go.
Mine was when I was in the hospital for my spinal injury back when I was 15 in '83. And I had this one gal coming in, and she was I had to have blood draws twice a day because one of the side benefits of diving into a pool and breaking your neck, of course, is drowning. So I had about I think they said 3/4 gallon of chlorinated water in my lungs, And so they needed to do blood draws and blood gases. And so for 30 days, I had 2 blood draws. And this one young nurse was just I have rolling veins. My veins roll. And this one candy striper was just having a hell of a time with me. And if you're out there, my friend, thank you for your care. You were awesome. And you were awesome enough to say, this is so not my gig. And I'm gonna go get the anesthesiologist to come in. And one of the things that a lot of people don't understand about anesthesiology is you are half anesthesiologist and half phlebotomist, because you gotta wire up everybody. You gotta get it right the first time. And this guy came in and he looked for all the world like he should have been starring in, the thing we do in the shadows. He was as vampire-y a looking dude as possible. And I was terrified of this guy. He came in, and even though I couldn't move, I just clenched up. And I said, I guess I'm being problematic. And he's like, you will be no problem for me. And at that point, I nearly had a spontaneous healing, got up and ran out. But this guy hit me so fast, I didn't know what happened. And then I'm still thinking that he hasn't done anything to me. And again, I was paralyzed, couldn't use my hands, couldn't move. And I got an itch on my nose. And I was like, can I ask a big favor? And he's like, what favor do you need? And I was like, I have an itch on my nose. And he just reached up and went, that the nose? And he just like that. And then I was like, okay, you ready to draw blood? And he's like, oh, I am done. You were in no trouble. Have a nice day. And then glided out without touching the ground with his cape fluttering behind him. So.
Chris and Andy do a thing.
All right, everybody, we are here to get stabbed. Woo-hoo. It is the day, Freedom Day.
Put it in my arm.
Right, give me the juice.
Yeah.
And we got our card, and it is a beautiful day, and everybody's waving at us because it is the day of all days.
People are giving us thumbs up. You can tell they're smiling behind their masks.
I've never seen a happier bunch of workers.
Yeah, I think it's very cool that they're being so supportive and encouraging, and the process here, the process they got here is really smooth and well designed.
Yeah, I agree entirely. And just for anybody who doesn't know, we are down at the Portland Airport, or PDX, at the red lot, which is the normal overflow lot.
And we should give a tip of the hat to OSHU. They're the ones
Oregon Health today. Science University.
Yep. And,
rock stars.
And they're doing our steps. We're headed for the tent right now.
So we got to shut off because we got people that we can't film, but then once we're past them, we can. So we'll be right back. And we has checked in, and they even gave us permission to film. So we're going live with the juice, except for not really live. We're going to be, showing this to you later. Thank you. And definitely making sure to give them a nice target area right in the tree of life. Yep. Okay. Oh, just straight out like that? Okay. Excellent. Yep. I'm trying to give you a good target.
I will do the handbrake.
Alright, how'd you do?
Wait, you're done?
I'm done.
That's almost disappointing. Oh, awesome. Thank you so much.
You're welcome.
And thank you for all you've been doing.
Congrats.
Oh, thank you.
So very normal, tip you a little sore.
Yep.
But otherwise, people do great.
Excellent.
Once you get yours, then you guys will have a 15-minute line, okay?
Sounds good.
If you trouble while you're there,
Right on. Yep, we know the process. Thanks.
Super. Yep, and this is me getting my stab.
You're going to feel a bit of a prick.
Won't even make a joke.
And a cold down there.
Did you all see that? You see how easy that was. Yeah. Awesome.
You're not even bleeding, but it feels like it.
Oh, you can tell we're at the airport.
Okay, alright.
But yeah, seriously, I've had more pain from stubbing my toe. I don't know if you can make that out from over there, but past that yellow vest is Mount Hood looking out at us in all her glory.
Yep, we just arrived at the 15-minute waiting line.
Yep, so we just sit here and chill for 15 minutes,
We are.
and we just feel the freedom in our veins or our muscles or
Yep.
whatevs.
Yep. 15 minutes.
15 minutes to glory. And that, my friends, as they say, is that we got it in us. We got the juice in us. We are on the road to whatever the hell comes next.
Well, to another
Well, yeah,
shot appointment.
yeah, in a month. But
In May.
do everybody a favor, including yourself. Get the damn shot. People are beeping in joy. The people at the lot were hooting in happiness.
Yeah, and I saw, you know, some of the workers were clapping for people as we were leaving.
Right?
I mean,
It's like that. That's what this is about. This is about everybody doing their part and helping us get back to whatever and get through to the next thing. So
and seriously,
get your shot.
It's not a big deal.
Yep. No.
Because science.
And welcome back. This is the last chapter of this episode of Keep Your Hat On. I'm Andrew Scott, along with my good friends Chris Vicano and Robert Anderson, and our special contributor, who you're probably going to be seeing here off and on, mostly on, Dr. Mark Peterson, professor of philosophy in the University of Wisconsin. And Mark, you know, you and I were...
How many? Where did you get down to, Mark?
7,417.
Oh, that's the total. Okay, 7,417 licks to get to the center of a
Research.
Tootsie Pop. Suck on that, owl.
Wow.
Yeah, well, we have no sacred cows here. This is the podcast where all cows are black. That's a philosophy joke for you.
Wow, that is an inside joke.
It's
by the way.
very inside. It's so inside. You have to lick through about 30 in order to get to
Wow,
the
at
center of
least.
that one.
Yeah, that's
I'll
right.
keep coming at it. I'll keep coming with it. But Mark and I were talking earlier. Mark and I have known each other now for 30 plus years. He was my mentor and my primary philosophy instructor.
Wow.
Before I went off to bigger and smaller things at a different college for a little while before I finally punched the cord, bailed out, and became a web developer, which brought me to the West Coast. And here I am. But
That was my fallback position, by the way.
what, web developer?
Computer science.
Okay. Yeah. Well,
Programming.
that's the other thing that Mark and
Propeller.
That's the other thing that Mark and I share is we have a deep and abiding fondness for useless old
Unix.
computers. Yeah, useless old computers. K-Pros, awesome machines. Awesome machine. The first time I ever propped that up on my legs and felt that 28 pounds cutting into my knees and going, "This is the future. The future is here."
Oh,
And
good days.
and
Good
and
times,
and
man.
and of course the ultimate text base arcade game, Ladder, which I still, you can play that online. You can play that on the web. Somebody has come up with a Ladder clone, and
I was just, if we're going to revisit those days, I was an Adventure 550 freak in those days. All text-based,
boy.
You're in a maze of twisty passages all alike.
That was a good time sitting there playing that in the dark. Yeah, that was all right. And nothing but the green screen CRT bathing your eyes.
Yeah,
that was the Matrix before the Matrix was the Matrix. As soon as I saw the CRT colors of the Matrix, I was like, I'm home.
I know where that is.
You've got me desperately trying to remember the game that we used to play in the computer lab in my high school, which was text-based.
There basically, was a Star Trek.
Well, this was a
Wampus.
precursor. This is a precursor to Doom, where you were put on a map, and the whole point was to actually run around the map and deathmatch with each other. You would hunt each other down. It was a network game.
Oh, damn. See, that was light years ahead of me. Network game.
Years later.
I mean, I started out with 150 baud modem that literally was handset. And the first time my dad and I got a hard drive to put in that K-Pro, it was 10 megabytes
10
big.
megs,
and
baby.
we were like, what the hell are we going to do with all this?
Nobody knew. Yeah.
No.
The K-Pro 10.
And Turbo Pascal. Turbo Pascal was my second language, and Fortran, and I'm an old geek. But
Turbo Pascal was my first, and I just remembered the name of the game was Snipe.
Oh, sure, I remember Snipe. Yeah,
I do.
You're right. That was fun. Actually, there was a version of that. Mark will remember this. There was a version of Snipe that was playable on the old bulletin board that we used to use back in Wisconsin back in the day.
Love it.
Yeah.
Was it PC Exec? What was the name of that?
Exec PC. Yeah.
Exec PC.
Mark and I were talking last time I was back in Wisconsin. I went and visited him, and he had picked up a bit of a new habit. I'll say habit instead of hobby, because we don't roll like that. It's not hobbies, it's habits. It always reminds me of my favorite album name by the Doobie Brothers. What were once vices are now habits. But Mark, you've grown in your appreciation and your accomplished nature as far as the ukulele goes. Now, ukulele's been a trending instrument for about the past decade and some. And of course, out here in hipster Oregon, the ukulele is wildly popular. So if you need to bring the band on a road trip, we'll be able to put you in venues. I promise you.
All right, we'll see how it goes. But I know some of those people out there now. So
yeah, there you go. And you got a bed to stay in. But we've got a segment here that we call
Music You Didn't Know You Loved.
And I'll admit that my knowledge of the uke as an instrument is kind of limited. I remember Robert and I were both really motivated back when Eddie Vedder from Pearl Jam came out with his ukulele album. When he was kind of, I don't know, Robert, would you kind of call that cutting edge for Eddie Vedder back in the day?
Untraditional ukulele, and I think that was the thing that lit me up about it.
Yeah, I agree.
As I've been playing ukulele for a while as well, probably not as long as Mark, but it was just very untraditional ukulele stylings, and it lit me up. Yeah.
And go ahead, Mark.
Go ahead.
No, you.
So I must have gotten into the cult about 15 years ago, and I can tell you how this happened. Though it's like, this is not a new instrument for me. Since I was born in Hawaii, we had him in the house, and my dad was in the service. I was born on Old Tripler in Honolulu, and so we had ukuleles growing up. And I look here.
Oh, would you please?
But I will tell you, this is the first song I remember my mother. I'm not going to sing or anything, but I'll give you the gist of it. But this is very old school, right? So
I hope it's no rights, no royalties, old school.
Real old school.
Okay. And we're back on Keep... You coughed right when I was talking. 3, 2, 1. And we're back on Keep Your Hat on the Show, where hell, even we don't know where we're going to go. I'm Andrew Scott, along with Dr. Mark C.E. Peterson out in Wisconsin, Robert Anthony over by Fubon Asian grocery store, and Chris about 7 blocks away from me. And Chris, I hear that you've got...
my new favorite thing in the world.
A new favorite thing in the world. What's going on?
I do. And this is really, really cool. I'm really excited to share this and talk about it.
We'll be the judge of that.
Fair enough. But mark my words, it's really cool. So a few weeks ago, I saw an article in the Washington Post about this young lady who has essentially made a career out of domino drops, you know, where you set up large, complicated domino art patterns. And actually, it's more correctly referred to as domino art. And, you know, they do the drops and they film them. And, you know, this is a thing. I'm sure most people have come across it once or twice. But her story is amazing. Her name is Lily Hevish. And she publishes on YouTube under the name Hevish 5, which is the 5 comes from the fact that she's the 5th member of her family, and that's how she came up with that name.
Fair enough.
She got her first set of dominoes when she was about 10 years old, and she started. You know, she would just set up all these interesting, intricate domino, you know, cascade drops. Using that set of dominoes and just found her passion in it. At about the age of 15, she set up a YouTube channel and started publishing domino videos anonymously under the name Hevish 5, but never exposed who the person was behind Hevish 5 until a couple of years later. You know, she just sort of kept publishing these videos. She got into competitive dominoes, domino art, where, and this is actually a thing. I mean, there are challenges, there are competitions.
Oh, yeah. And just for our listeners only on the audio side of our podcast, you need to understand something. When we think of domino drops and dominoes falling, we think of these, you know, large, elaborate patterns that we've seen done in gymnasiums and things like that, of dominoes all lined up on their edges. But Lily does something so dramatically different. It transcends that and goes to the I didn't know you could do that with those things school.
Right.
Where she's got dominoes stacked on top of dominoes, with dominoes trestling over to other dominoes. I get nervous as a klutzy disabled person. I get nervous just looking at pictures of this setup for fear that if I jostle my desk too much, the whole thing's going to
knock
go
it
over.
over.
Yeah.
Imagine the patience and the time and
I can't even imagine the patience.
Well, just not only the setup.
And before you do the setup, you have to design it.
Yeah. How is she designing this?
I'm guessing.
Does she have the engineer degree?
No, I'm guessing that she's probably using CAD. Some layout software.
Let me get back to her story, because her
Chris
story
is going to know, not me. So sorry.
Every bit as fascinating as what she does.
Chris, would you just get back to her story?
Chris,
yes,
Chris, get back to her story. Though.
I'm so sorry I took us on this tangent.
Would you get back to the story, please?
You did it again.
Whoops, I did it. Nah, never mind.
You remember what happened the last time you sang on an episode?
I know.
Free Britney.
Yep.
Go on.
Yep. All right. So,
Hashtag Free Britney.
All right. Focus, boys.
Wrong crowd.
So
we don't know where we'll end up.
She got to about 19, and
how old is she now? Do you have any idea?
She's 22 now.
Okay, all right.
Yeah. So she got to 19, and it was time for her to head off to college. She went and enrolled at Rensselaer Polytechnic Institute. Of course. This girl is, smart as a whip too. I mean, obviously, and she got in, and she was I forget exactly what her degree was, but it's in a STEM field and had a connection to culture. She realized the domino thing was just taking off for her massively.
As is so often the case with these types of people, they start doing something kind of as a lark and put it on YouTube, and then the next thing you know, it has taken over their lives.
Yeah. And this did. She had to make a really tough choice. So she dropped out of school and dedicated herself to becoming a full-time domino art professional. And as far as so no engineering degree, no good education background, but she stopped because she found her thing and she's following her passion, and that's what's so cool about this. But there's some other pieces about this that make her story so remarkable. Within the domino art community, she is one of the very few women who actually compete in dominoes. And she's a regular winner in her competitions. Not only that, she holds the Guinness World's Record for largest circular domino drop with 250,000 dominoes. She has a YouTube award. She's on the 2020 Forbes 30 Under 30.
Yeah.
She's done domino drops on the Today Show, on the Tonight Show.
Well, and she's worked with Google, Disney, Pixar, Marvel, Ford, Johnson & Johnson, Marriott.
She does professional domino drops for these big companies. Absolutely.
Who pays for the crew?
Well, I'm sure that
she's got a whole team that she works with.
Yeah, I mean,
they're all.
You're talking her
YouTube
channel. Her YouTube channel has 3 million followers.
And 1 billion views.
Yeah, exactly. Over 1 billion views on a number of her videos. I'm happy to hear that somebody like that has got Patreon support and people that are helping fund these things, because we're going back to our discussion of what is art before.
I was just going to say, I hope the AI doesn't get involved.
Right? Exactly.
Well, yeah, absolutely.
But it's just such a great story. That it's just one of those things where it's something that puts joy in people's lives, seeing the process of it. And that's one of the things that I love most about the creators that I follow, is not only are they showing you the result of what they were doing, but they also let you into the process. Because for me, I'm a process guy. I like knowing how the sausage is made. As a matter of fact, that was my very first job as a kid, was 7 years old, cleaning out blood trays at a butcher across the street from me. But I really enjoy knowing the process, because for me, the process is also art. And getting to go along on that ride with a creator or an artist, I can watch. That's one of the reasons why I spend a lot of my evening hours watching guys turning knotted up burled wood into amazing, on a lathe. Yeah. And watching that process happen.
And this is the cherry on top of her story, her wonderful, delicious ice cream sundae of a story, is that, to your point about bringing people into the process, she just did a deal with a toy company and has released a starter domino set with specially designed dominoes.
Yeah, because her dominoes, again, to be clear to the people listening, her dominoes aren't classical dominoes. They're not what you think of when you think of domino.
Wait. They don't have the bead in the middle of them?
No.
They don't have the bead. They don't have the dots.
They've got no pips.
So they're just pieces of plastic that look like dominoes for art.
And they're rounded in a certain way so that they drop better.
And now they're weighted and everything else. Yeah.
They're sport dominoes.
Well, I tend to refer to them as high performance dominoes.
Yeah, they're pro dominoes. Yeah.
Oh, so we would not see those.
So she's done this toy deal to inspire kids, and give them an opportunity to find joy in something that she finds joy in, and.
To share in that creative process.
Absolutely. And to open it up to anybody who wants to participate, rather than doing, this is my thing.
Exactly. And that goes back to the discussion, Chris, that we were having before about, a painter in his attic painting only for himself is expression, or herself is expression. And it's also art. But anytime you get to share the experience with somebody, no matter what it is, to me, there's, okay, Peterson's gonna pat me on the back for this or slap me in the head, one of the two, haven't decided yet. There's an arete to that. Do I get points? Do I get points? Teach? Do I get points? And that's one of my very
Greek word.
Arete.
Excellent.
It is a Greek word, and is one of my very favorite Greek words. And that's one of the things that Peterson and I bonded on back in the day when I was first in his class, because I was the only one in class who knew what that word meant before we went into that discussion.
Of course he did.
Well, hey, thank the Jesuits.
Yeah.
But arete is the excellence in doing a thing. And it transcends just merely that as well, because somebody can be technically proficient at something to the point where they do it and it's perfect, but there's also a spirit implied and a spiritus that's implied with that word, and that's exactly what she does. Look, knocking down dominoes is just physics. It's just physics. It is cause and effect and a chain of events, and it's predictable and it's measurable and all that. But what she does is what she does is brings a whole different spirit to it, which is why her dominoes look different. Why? We're not playing dominoes. We're not slapping things down on a table and taking drags of your opponent's cigarette as a way to rub their nose in it. This is about something bigger and greater than just that. And the joy that you see, and we'll put links to her videos down below, the joy that you see in her, not only the joy that you see when the thing deploys successfully, but the joy in her doing it. And at the same time, she shares frustrations and all that business as well, because I mean, it's dominoes. There's going to be frustrations. There's going to be There's going to be the errant cat walking into something at some point in life. Yeah. By the way, Mark, where's the cat? Come on. That was a cue exit stage left.
Yeah, Boomer is right here. Actually, the dog right now is looking at me like he needs something.
Come on, Dad. Well, look, again, we are going to put this down. Wrap this up for us, Chris.
Yeah, I'd like to close out and just say that she's not content where she's at. She's looking towards the future.
No, she's going to find a way to make this ambition. She's going to find a way to make this bigger. I have all confidence in this woman's ability to blow dominoes up on a global scale.
Huge. But she's literally.
I was just going to say, now that I've said that, I kind of question whether or not I should have used that as a
weird,
but
okay.
She's set her next target. It's a very ambitious goal, which is to get another Guinness World Record for largest domino drop ever, which is going to involve 5 million dominoes.
Jeez.
A large crew of people working for 3 months to set it up. And all I can say is, you go, girl. You do it.
In a non-earthquake zone.
I was just going to say in the middle of where would that be? Somewhere like Kazakhstan's riddled with earthquakes.
I think they got him there. I don't know.
Anyways, we will put links down and below. But until next time, everybody, this has been Keep Your Hat On. I'm Andrew Scott, along with Chris Vicano, Robert Anthony, and Dr. Mark C.E. Peterson. And thanks for joining us. Thanks for hanging out. Remember, please, to like, click, subscribe. If you'd like to support us on Patreon, we'll be more than willing to take that support. But until next time, everybody, remember, keep your hat on. As we just proved, we may end up miles from here. Take care, everybody. Wear your mask, get your shot, and we'll talk to you soon. Bye-bye.
Well, there's a chunk of time you can't get back. From Portland, Oregon, this has been Keep Your Hat On, a big little show about a whole lot of nothing in particular. Keep Your Hat On is a narrowband broadcast network production in association with PodSquadPDX.com. Andrew Scott, executive producer. Robert Anthony and Chris Vicano, associate producers. Our theme music was written and produced by Andrew Scott, along with help from Ron Kajawa. Website design and maintenance by Vacano Creative, Chris Vacano Webmaster. Available at vacanocreative.com. Audio and video production by Andrew Scott. Available at andrewscottmedia.com. Got ideas or comments for the show? Email us at talkback@kyhopodcast.com. And don't forget to like, click, and subscribe. On behalf of the boys, I'm your announcer, Michael Brumage. Thanks for listening. I guess.
3 million fucking dominoes. Holy cow.
Just,
I would seriously, it makes me nervous. It makes me nervous thinking about it.
Stop.
NBBN. The Narrowband Broadcast Network. The focus is on you.